We've been around since 1946, over 74 years, and one of our missions since we were founded by Broward County public school teachers is to educate the community. Now we are a full-service financial institution with over 62,000 members. How you join the credit union? Anyone who lives in Broward, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade, and 20 other counties in Florida can join, and your family members are welcome to save with us as well. You can join online at bscu.org, stop by one of our 7 convenient branches, or mail in a membership application that you'll find on our website. And now I would like to introduce the star of the show, Mr. Bill Goldberg, the founder and CEO of Auto Advisors. Bill, take it away.
Thanks, Joyce, and thank you all for helping to coordinate this. First of all, welcome to this first of its kind virtual car buying seminar. We normally do these in person. I am based in Orlando, Florida, and I'm talking to you probably all over South Florida right now. Just a little background, I've been in this business since 1984, and we have been serving credit unions with this particular type of program since 1990. And just by way of a little perspective, this program was built at the request of PenFed, that's Pentagon Federal, up in Alexandria, Virginia, because our company, a company I worked for years ago, used to serve military members and diplomats overseas. I was based overseas for many years, came back, and the CEO of Pentagon said, "Hey, Bill, you guys have a great program overseas, but our members, our service members here at the Pentagon are really having a hard time buying cars at the dealers." So we built this program and we brought it to Florida in 96, 97. So we've been here for 23 years working with credit unions throughout the state. Brightstar is one of our star credit unions, great partnership. And we work with 30 other credit unions in the state. So that was just by way of a little perspective. Also a little bit of a disclaimer. We work with 250 dealerships from Miami to Tallahassee, Jacksonville, even some in Atlanta. So those dealerships are really good partners, and they work with us closely to provide you with great pricing. They agree not to steal the credit union financing. They don't sell gap or extended warranties on our deliveries. And so I don't want you to think that I'm here to bash dealers. There are some really great dealers all over the country. Some of them, however, probably could do a little bit by going back to school and working on customer service. So we have found a niche where we have consumers who are tired of the normal process, and we help them through with what we call an expedited process. So we have a lot of fun doing it, and I want to go through some of the features and benefits. So thank you very much for allowing me to have a little bit of an introduction, and I'll go into who we are, what we do. So we're a hassle-free car buying program, and we are designed and created specifically for credit union members. We don't work with the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Costco, Sam's Club. We only work with credit unions and their families and their friends to assist them in the purchase of a new or pre-owned vehicle. This service is guaranteed to not only assure you a very competitive price, but also to look at the whole transaction. We want to make sure that you're protected financially from the beginning to the end to find the right vehicle. We will accompany you to the dealership. Right now, we're doing that virtually, although we have some advisors, some are on this call right now, who will still put on a mask. They will keep their social distancing, and they will meet you at the dealership, because we want to make sure that we help you finalize the paperwork, you understand everything, and that you close the financing with the credit union. And I'll get into that, the importance of that a little later. Okay. And by the way, if you have any questions, let's save them to the end, and I'll be happy to go through them with you afterwards. And I have plenty of time tonight, although I haven't had dinner yet. So anyway, typical car buying experience with the dealers online. The internet's been a wonderful development for consumers. However, there are also a little bit of traps for people that aren't savvy when they're shopping. First of all, the minute you put in your name, your phone number, your email, you've gone into their database and you're going to hear from these folks forever. And I mean forever. So you may want to think twice about giving folks your name and phone number on the internet. But that's the only way you're going to be able to get internet pricing, because a lot of folks won't let you shop on their website unless they have started to qualify you, which is getting this information. One thing about internet pricing we want to be very upfront about, there's a new tactic that dealers are using. And I know some of them will be very upset with us sharing this with you. But there are dealerships in South Florida who have tripled and quadrupled their monthly volume simply by doing this little tactic. And that is, they will put the cost, the buy price that they purchase the car from the consumer, they will put that as the selling price on the internet. And then when you come into the dealer, they say, well, that's the beginning price, but we did have to run it through our service department, and that's $1,900. And then the dealer made a few dollars, and the next thing you know, you're $3,000-$4,000 over the advertised price. So understand that internet pricing is serving as what used to happen on the Sunday paper. In the Sunday paper, remember those 4-color 2-page ads? Well, those ads were designed to bring you into the dealership. They don't sell cars, they just gather you. So internet pricing is used in that same way. They want you to look at the vehicle, they want you to see a desirable price, and they want you to come into the dealer or call them. And that begins that process. Our car buying program starts with a pre-approval with the credit union. We want you to understand your financial options. We want you to understand your monthly payment. We want you to understand your interest rate and any stipulations you might have. You might have to show a pay stub, whatever. But we want you to understand what the car buying process entails, and it begins with financing. And I'll be repeating myself on this item over and over again. He or she who controls the financing controls the profit in the transaction. So I'm going to repeat that again and again. You'll get tired of hearing it, but write it down. Whoever controls the financing controls the profit in the transaction. Why, do you ask? Well, your credit union will approve you for only so much money. So let's say a vehicle costs $20,000. Your credit union will approve you for what's called loan to value. They'll approve you for maybe 110% loan to value. So let's say that's $22,000. That limits your exposure on that piece of collateral, which is worth $20,000. There are some banks out there today, right now, that will pre-qualify you and approve you for 135, 40, and up to 150% loan to value, which means that a dealership, if they worked with one of these banks, and again, no slight to the dealership, they're trying to help you get out of a vehicle perhaps that you're upside down in, they might finance a $20,000 car for $30,000. And that means that you're going to pay back $30,000 on a $20,000 piece of collateral. You understand that's not a good financial decision. So your credit union is going to only approve you for a good amount of money that's fair for the vehicle that you want to buy. Very important. We're also going to look at a trade evaluation. There's a lot going on right now in the used car market. Dealers are short on used cars because of COVID. Used cars have become very popular because some of our factories were shut down in Japan and also in the United States. So used cars are going for a premium right now. And I'll get into that a little later about some tricks that you can do. We want to research and find the right vehicle option for our members. We have a preferred dealer network. Many of these dealers we've been working with for 20, 23 years. The reason why we get such good pricing on vehicles, and by the way, we don't buy or sell cars. I want to be clear, we are not a dealer. We're not a traditional broker where we buy the car and then resell it to you. We are not resellers. We are strictly a buyer's broker. We help put the buyer and seller together. So the reason why we get such great pricing is I ask many of our members, how many cars do you buy every 5 years? And the member will say, well, one for me and one for my husband, or one for me and one for my wife. That's 2 cars in 5 years. In that same amount of time, we've done 20,000 cars. So my question to the member is always, who do you think has more buying power? You at 2 cars or us at 20,000? And I usually get a smile and they usually say, okay, go to work for me. We get great access to quality inventory, great reviews. The dealership, we have support from the very highest of management, sometimes the owners, because they love our business. They love our volume because it's incremental. And we have select contacts that we've worked with the dealer to hand select to work with our members, because it takes a very special person who's been in the car business, male or female, to not try to close hard, to do a soft close, to explain the features and benefits of the business, and let us help the member decide to buy the car. So it takes a very, very, very special person. And many times we don't even have a salesperson working with us. It's someone in the internet department who's more of a technical person than a salesperson. Historically, for 20-something years, we have accompanied, I would say 99% of the members to the dealer appointment. But now, because of COVID, we do wear masks. We do take it seriously. This is not just like the flu, sorry. But this is a serious pandemic. Over 200,000 people have perished. And we don't want any of our advisors to be in those numbers. So I'm very proud to share with you that we're all safe and we've been very careful. We're still helping dealers every single day. But I've given them a mandate. The buck stops with me. I don't want anyone on my watch getting sick, going to where they shouldn't go. They can go to a dealer, but they need to wear a mask. And in some cases, I've asked some of our folks who are a little older, like me, to wear gloves. So be careful. Anyway, you as a member benefit from the Auto Advisors Program dealer guidelines. They really work. More guidelines. On new cars, 99% of the vehicles go out at invoice cost, minus rebates, minus incentives. We get you every single discount that you qualify for on a new car. And again, we start at invoice and down. Now, if you come to us and say, I want the latest Corvette, the Z08 now, or Z09, I think it used to be the Z07, but if you want a brand new Corvette and they're going for 70 grand and you want to get it at invoice, that's not going to happen. You're probably going to pay on select limited availability cars, you'll pay MSRP, but never over MSRP. We will not allow our dealers, and we will not recommend to you to buy a vehicle over MSRP. That's ridiculous. You'll never get out of it. We get very competitive pricing on pre-owned vehicles. We're below NADA and market values always, and we check each transaction. You get upfront pricing and disclosures. You never have any questions about what it costs you. We want you to understand what you've paid for. I have so many friends here in Orlando, doctors, lawyers, real estate brokers, folks that run restaurants, folks that work in restaurants, that tell me they always tell me they got the best deal in the world. When I ask them to see the buyer's order, they always plead amnesia. I can't find it. They never want me to look at the buyer's order because they don't want me to tell them the real lowdown on what happened. So it's complicated. Buying a car is not so easy, and we want to disclose everything to you so you know what you paid for. Our policy is no surprise. You understand what you paid for. I don't think that you hear that very often wherever you shop for a car, anywhere in the United States. There's no sales pressure. Total transparency, and our folks are professional and knowledgeable as they are at the dealer. But we're the only folks in town that will tell you, if it's not in your best interest, don't buy the car. If you owe $5,000 more than it's worth and you're trying to lower your payment, that's not going to happen, because we have to take that $5,000 and put it into the next car if you don't have money down. So we will actually advise you, hence Auto Advisors. I'm not being sarcastic or being facetious. But the idea is we will actually tell you, hey, this might not be a good time to buy a car. Why don't you wait 12 months, double up on some payments, come back to us. And I can't tell you how many members listen to us and come back and say, thank you so much. No one ever explained to us that we really needed to pay down this car. So it really works. We're not going to, we don't sell you anything. We don't make a pitch for finance. We want you to finance with your credit union, for goodness sakes. They're the reason why we're all here. We do want you to buy their warranty and their gap, but they're going to explain that to you. And I want to be very open with you. We receive no compensation for gap or extended warranties. We make a small marketing fee, which we'll talk about later, but we make a small marketing fee on each vehicle delivered. But we do not sell any other products. And in all the years I've been doing this, I refuse to get into that business. That's the credit union's business. And we want them to sell their gap, their extended warranty, and offer you the most competitive financing in the marketplace. Okay? We also don't really encourage you to buy dealer products. And the reason is there's such a high profit margin on them. If you want them, talk to us. We'll try to negotiate a discount. But you know, if it's a soft, what we call soft aftermarket pinstripes or something like that, it's really, you're going to pay a lot of money for it. If you want to get a spoiler or something like that, that's a different thing. Or special wheels and tires. That's something to discuss. But we are very careful advising you to only buy the car. Be careful. Finance with the credit union, and be careful about buying product, okay? Car buying, we like to keep it simple, but it's not a simple process. It's a lot of haggle and hassle, it's time consuming, and you folks have a lot of frustration and anxiety. I don't like to car shop, and I know this business inside now. I usually call Joe, our South Florida area manager, and I call Joe and say, hey, Joe, help me. And he helps me out, which is nice. So Joe, there's a call out to you. I hope you're on this webinar. We're a no hassle, no haggle way to buy a car. Our concern, I want to be very upfront, is finding the right vehicle for you. I want you to know that I have no product bias. I really don't. And I don't mean this to sound flippant, but if you want a Honda, by golly, you're going to get a Honda. If you want a BMW, we're going to get you a BMW. If you want a Hyundai, we're going to get you a Hyundai. We really have no product bias. And so many manufacturers make such great vehicles today with great warranties. We can very comfortably help you get whatever you want without making any disparaging comments. We're not going to tell you, oh, don't buy a Honda. Of course, buy a Honda. Buy a Toyota. Wonderful cars. You want to buy American. Great time to do that. You want to buy Ford, Chevy, Dodge. Dodge is making some incredibly high performance product. We're happy to help you buy it. We want to assist you with your trade-in, as I discussed. And we also, at this point, want to suggest to you a couple of tricks that we use. Right now, CarMax is, in many instances, paying top dollar for cars, for used cars. So you can get I believe, a 7 or 10 day offer on your car that they will honor. That's a good thing to do to figure out what your trade-ins were. It also keeps the dealers honest where you're going to buy the car. Carvana is another source that will come to your house and pick up the car. They're paying ridiculous amounts of money for trade-ins if it's something that they want and they need. But here's a caution on both, and you guys can figure this out. If a company is paying full price and over market value for trade-ins, what does that mean about the cars that they're selling you? They're going to be pricey. So Carvana and CarMax, great companies, great organizations, great concepts, great place to trade your car, to sell your car. I would not personally want to buy a car there because I don't want to pay too much. We've been serving members since 1990, as I've explained, and there's no charge for our service. So I want to be very upfront. I know a lot of you are going to ask, you guys don't look like Mother Teresa. How are you making your money? We get a flat marketing fee that is the same whether you buy a $19,000 car or a $99,000 car. And the reason for that is we started with the military, and we were told by Pentagon, you treat our privates and our sergeants and our lieutenants the same way you treat our colonels and generals. And I'll tell you how it has worked to an advantage of ours is we're the only car buying service that's officially at Partners Federal Credit Union, which handles the Disney account here in Orlando. So I'm very proud to share that with you. That took a lot of years to get in, to work with them, but we've been with Disney for 21 years, and we take care of their cast members. So I wanted to share that with you. And we save you time and money. Look, at right now, especially as you get older, time is all you have. And I really don't want to spend 8 to 10 hours at a dealership on a Saturday with my wife. My kids are grown, but I certainly, when they were home, I didn't want to take my kids to a dealership. So you don't have to do that. We can do all the work for you. We're good at it. Since we've started, we've done over 80,000 cars, one at a time, new and used, and never sold one. All we do is help you buy them. So we've done a lot of volume, and I'm hoping that we're going to see 100,000 soon enough, just a few more years. We take into account your needs, size, practicality, fuel efficiency. You'd be surprised at how many members come to us and say, I want 4-door, I want airbags, ABS, good fuel efficiency. What do you recommend? Well, that's a dream member, because we can really guide you, give you good options. And then we talk about pricing, your wants. We want to know make, color, options, style. What's important to you? These things, we're not trying to sell you a car. We don't have a car to sell you. We want to help you buy what you want. And your budget dictates your decision. If you tell us I need to buy a 4-door or an SUV with low mileage, with good, that gets good mileage, under warranty, but I only have a budget, we're going to guide you and say, okay, we probably got to go 2 years old. You want to consider the warranty from the credit union. So if you own it for 5 years, you've got the extended warranty. We're going to guide you in the purchase. So it's what we do. And if we don't know, we're going to ask. So we're experts, but we're not perfect. And many times we have to check with the dealer. Again, I call Joe and I say, Joe, what's the warranty on this car? And we have the discussion and off we go. It's really important that you know what you can afford before you go to the dealer. I try to explain to members, buying a car today is like buying a house in the old days. My parents' first house in Miami was $18,600, $18,600. And I remember my father and mom talking about in the car, how could they afford a $180 a month mortgage payment? You guys, most of us pay more than that in car payments today. So before you're going to buy a car, which is going to be $20, $30, $40, $50,000, know what you can afford, know what the interest rate is, know what the term is, and know what the monthly payment's going to be, so that you, when you go shopping, you know where to go. I wouldn't go house shopping without first getting my mortgage pre-approved, so I know in which zip code I can afford to live, right? That's just a fact. Car shopping should be no different. It is the second most expensive purchase you'll make in your lifetime, and we believe you should approach it unemotionally and methodically and responsibly. And we help you do that. I know we're bad news for a lot of folks that sell cars that want you to come in on a Saturday when you're on your way to the mall and plop down and buy a car. That's not in your best interest. And I have to tell you that. Researching and shopping and doing your homework is the most important thing. So we recommend highly that you get pre-approved before you shop. We recommend highly that you be sure that your loan amount includes tax, tag, and titling fees. That can be $2,000, $3,000 over what you expect to pay. You can't imagine how many members ask to get pre-approved for $25,000, and then they find the car for $25,000, and they look at us sideways when we say, well, the out-the-door price is $28,000. Why? Well, Uncle DeSantis up in Tallahassee makes us pay a sales tax, and you got to pay the sales tax, and you've got to pay the licensing and titling fees. Right now, I believe to get a license, and Joe, you can text me if to get your car titled. Joe, you can text me. text me, I believe it's $495. So there,
Yep.
what's that, Joe?
For a new plate, yes.
Thank you, Joe. So for a new plate, it can be that or more. So you should know that before you go out shopping. Also, ask your credit union. They're a wonderful financial resource. They are the best of the best. You can trust them. Why? You own them. You're member owners. They exist because of you. I belong to 2 credit unions and do all my personal banking there. I do my business banking at a bank, which is a 4-letter word to us, but I have to do it because we have branches all over. We have people that work all over the state, and we need to make deposits everywhere. So ask about warranties, ask about gap insurance. They will be happy to explain it to you. And understand the pricing and any promotions going on. If you're not going to use us, we're going to explain that to you, but do some research. Understand what the manufacturer's rebates are. Understand that most of the time when they offer 0% or 1% financing, you have to give up a rebate instead of it. And our mantra is take the rebate and low financing with the credit union. Why? Because if you take the financing, you don't keep the car to term, you don't take it out 60 or 72 months, you've wasted the amount of rebate money that bought down the interest rate. So always take the rebate and finance with your credit union. If they're offering 0% financing with no rebate, that's hard to beat. So I have to tell you, 0% financing with no rebate, hard to pass that by, okay? And use the internet as a resource, but don't get trapped. Be careful how many times you give out your personal information. I don't know about you, but I don't want people sending me emails and calling me at home. The typical car buying experience starts with an online contact. And as we said earlier, most websites request your information, and it's a way for them to start qualifying you. As we said before, the internet pricing, the availability the availability, excuse me, of those vehicles is vague, and the pricing is deliberately low to get you through the door. And again, the purpose is to get you there. Once you get to the dealer, I just have to advance this, excuse me. You are going to drive on the lot, and you are going to start the process of searching for a car. And I do an entire car buying seminar just on this experience. And I've been doing it for many, many years. And I'm not going to do it tonight because we just don't have the time to cover it all. But suffice it to say that there is something at a dealership called a road to a sale. And a road to a sale should be, if the dealership is on the ball, should be taught to every one of their salespeople. And what a road to a sale does is walk the salesperson through the processes that they should take when you walk on the lot. It includes how they approach you, how they greet you, how they make common ground with you. They talk about the Dolphins. Well, we might not want to talk about the Dolphins right now, but anyway, the Dolphins, the Heat, they're doing great. But bottom line is they're trying to create some common ground because you don't want to buy a car from a stranger. And then they start qualifying you. Where do you work? How long have you been there? I don't mean, again, to be harsh, but they don't really care where you work or how long have you been there. But if you say that you just moved down from Jersey and you don't have a job yet and you're living in a hotel, do you think they want to spend the next 4 hours with you letting you drive Camaros and Corvettes? I don't think so. Not unless they pre-qualify you and find out that you're going to stroke a check for it. And I apologize for my slang with New Jersey. I went to school right across the river in Philadelphia, so I'm very familiar with the accents. But anyway, you're gonna go through this whole process of qualification, and then once you're qualified, it will start the car selection and the test drive, and then the price presentation. And by the time you get through all this, you can grow a beard. So I really don't want to spend that much time at a dealership not understanding what's going on. Now, there are some that have expedited processes, but not many, because the entire idea is for you to spend a lot of time there, and it wears you down and you make a decision you might not otherwise make. There are 5 profit areas when you buy a car. The smallest profit center for a dealer is selling price. I'm going to repeat that. The smallest profit center is the first one on this list, is price. And why is it the smallest? Because dealerships they're selling cars close to invoice. They're advertising cars low to get you in the door, but they're hoping to make money on your trade by providing you financing, by selling you a warranty or gap or wheel and tire insurance and any aftermarket products. So the idea is to give away the car, they call it the front end, not a lot of profit on the front end, and to make all the money on the back end. When we do these seminars, we like to teach you, when you focus on selling price, that's 10% of the profit. When you forget about everything else, that's 90% of the profit. So that's why all this advertising that you see on TV about come on to the dealer, we have the best pricing. Well, of course they want you to go to the dealership because they can sell you a car and you're not going to go to your credit union and get pre-approved. Remember, he or she who controls the financing controls the profit in the car. They can only make so much money, new or used car dealers, if you finance with your credit union. So if you take nothing away tonight and you say, I don't want to use auto advisors, I like to beat my head against the wall, I love to go play with dealers and negotiate and spend. I've had a guy at Lockheed Martin tell me one of his joys in his life is to spend a month researching cars and going to beat up dealers. And I just told him he had way too much time. It's not what I want to do. But if you enjoy doing that, fantastic, go do it. You don't need us. We're not your program. But if you don't want to do a month's worth of work and you want someone to expedite things for you, explain it to you and have it delivered to your home office or the credit union branch, or we'll meet you there, again, protected, we're the program for you. Okay? So let me just move this. I can't see my next, sorry. I'm moving the video screen and I can't see the advance button. Anyway, dealership loans. I don't want to say get exactly what this says. Dealers pretend they're doing you a favor. That's a little harsh. It's not they're doing you a favor. It's that it's more convenient to finance. That would be better put. We need to change that word in the slide. I missed it. I'm sorry. But dealers pretend that they're making it convenient for you to get your loan there, when in reality, they want to control the profit in the transaction. And they may meet or even beat your credit union loan by 25 basis points. That's a quarter point. But most of us have been trained to think in terms of, when you think of interest rate, you think in terms of a mortgage. And 1/4% or 1/2% on a mortgage over 30 years is a lot of money. But 25 basis points, 1/4% on a 5-year loan is $3, $4 a month. For $3 or $4 a month, I don't know about you, I want to support my credit union. I want to get the loan with them. I want them to protect me. And I think it's a good thing to do. And I control the profit when I control the financing. And so a dealer can make as much money on the loan as he can on the sale of the car. Why is that? Because some banks will do indirect lending with the dealer. They give them a buy rate. Let's say it's 2.9%, and the dealer can mark it up as much as 200 basis points, 2 or even 3%, whatever you will buy. Your credit union has a cheaper cost of funds, and they don't mark it up as much because they're not Chase Bank. So they make a small profit, which is then returned to you in forms of better return on your share account, on your savings account, and lower interest rates for cars. So it's a self-perpetuating microsystem that you're in when you're a member of a credit union. Support them. Get your loan with your credit union. You'll control the profit, and the dealers can they can get their financing for somebody else. Let them get it for non-credit union members. No heartburn, but credit union members that we work with, we want you to finance with your credit union, stay protected. 0% or 1% versus credit union financing, I covered that previously. My apologies, but 0 or 1% and you give up a rebate, take the rebate and get your 2.9, 3.9 financing with your credit union. You'll be better off. Okay, team? I think you'll be very happy. Bright Star loans, lower APRs, pre-approval before you shop. Your Bright Star personal lender, your personal member service rep is going to discuss all the terms with you. Payment, length of loan, amount borrowed. You're going to know everything you need to know when you leave the credit union. And if you don't understand it, ask. They're wonderfully trained and they will do a great job for you. Conversely, one of the tactics that you never want to use is you never want to walk into a dealership and say, I'm only going to pay $350 a month. That's it. Don't show me anything except $350 a month. Well, I have a question for you folks that are listening. Is that for 36 months, 48 months, 60 months, 72 months, or 84 months, or God forbid, 96 months? So I didn't do this. Let me just grab my, pardon me. I'm going to just, so I don't make a mistake. 36 months times 350 is 12,600. $12,600. Okay, guys? 350 times 72 months is 25,200. Okay? I just wanted to illustrate that to you. So that's why I try to help members understand, don't mention monthly payment. Because, oh, sure, we'll get you that car for $350 a month. It'll be 84 months, no money down. You'll think it's a great deal. And in about 3 years, when you try to get out of it, someone's going to explain to you that you owe way more than it's worth. And that's when you will hear that you're upside down in the car. So I'm not picking on dealers. I'm picking on you guys, the consumer. Don't be foolish. Don't suggest a monthly payment that is in your budget because they'll hit it. You just won't understand the term, okay? And the idea of talking about monthly payments is because no dealer wants to talk to you about the price of the car or the length of the loan, because that's the bad news. That's the nitty gritty. They want you to focus on monthly payment. So we don't want you to focus on monthly payment unless you're talking to your MSR or to us. Then we will talk to you about how that monthly payment fits into your pre-approval amount, and we want to make sure that you can afford what you want to buy. So you do need to talk price, and we want you to focus on the total. Actually, we want you to focus on the payments with the credit union, and I'm not understanding what this is, so I'm sorry, but we're talking about from the dealer. So by focusing on payments and not the total price, that's what causes the confusion. And we don't want you to do that. Sorry about that. Extras add up. Car dealers and car salesmen work on commission. So we want them to make a living. I use this expression as we talk to our dealers, and we tell them straight up, we don't mind you making a small profit. You have to stay in business. You've got to keep your doors open. We get it. We want you to use a baseball term, we want you to hit a single. You can hit a single. We don't want doubles, triples, home runs, or grand slams on our members. You make a little bit of profit, but we don't want you to make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on a transaction. You can do that on someone else, not on our members. We advise members, don't buy services you don't need. I, for one, I told you I have no product bias, but full disclosure, I lived in Europe for 10 years working on that military diplomatic program, and I like German cars. I'm addicted to them. I like French wine and German cars.
To get something for her, and she asked me
Oh, somebody's on. Oops.
Hi, Steph. She made me run and stuff.
We need to mute somebody. Thank you. So I'm full disclosure, I love German cars, but I won't prejudge you. I won't make you buy one. I won't even recommend one to you because after 5 years, you don't want to service them. But don't buy services you don't want or need. Buy what you like. Buy, if you need wheel and tire, because I like German cars and I have the big wheels and the big tires because they go fast. And I like to buy wheel and tire because it protects me if I get a nail, and because a Michelin costs $550. and a wheel, if I ding a wheel, it's going to be $1,000. I don't mind paying $699 for the wheel and tire. So buy services you need and don't buy services you don't need. And know what you want before you go into the business office. And that's what we're going to coach you with. I like to say, and again, not to make the dealers angry, remember Nancy Reagan? Again, I'm dating myself. I'm proud to do it. Nancy Reagan said about drugs, just say no. In the dealer's business office, just say no. Tell them you have your financing. Tell them you have your gap and extended warranty. If you're buying a Honda, Toyota, or BMW with nice wheels and tires, ask them about their wheel and tire insurance, which is not a bad thing to get. But otherwise, you don't need paint sealant. You don't need anything else. Okay? And just understand that anything you buy at the dealership is going to be more expensive and probably won't be covered by a warranty. However, if you do want, like Dodge, you want Mopar parts for your car and you're going to soup it up and do neat things, then I would recommend manufacturer's accessories. If you're going to tune your car or make it a little more exotic, you want to have stock equipment from the manufacturer, okay? You don't want stuff off the internet that's cheap, that's going to diminish the value of your car. Everything with us is about value and value of your car, okay? Again, you've all been through it. I don't want to really belabor the point, but the dealer's emphasis is to close the sale today. They don't want you to go shopping elsewhere. So that's why utilize us. Let us do the shopping for you, and we can save you a lot of time. When you go, if you do go without us, you're going to see on the window of the vehicle what's called a Monroney label, and that's MSRP with all the add-ons. Next to that, there's a little tactic, little trick. They'll make what they call a bump label, an addendum label, same colors. Toyota is notorious for this. A red border, just like the MSRP border, and they will have the extra things they're trying to put on the car. And that's when they'll put, I've seen stuff such as ADM, additional dealer markup. So if there's a hot car out there, they're hard to get, they may add $2,000 just for a market adjustment. You know, it kind of goes up my nose because the manufacturer produces the car and prices them for all of the United States. So South Florida isn't a special market. I know we all think Florida's special, and it is, but it's not a special market compared to California or Colorado or New York. Pricing should be the same. So when a dealer is telling you they have an additional markup because it's a market adjustment, that translation, that means it's a hot car, we're out of them, we're low in inventory, and we want you to pay more. Don't pay the additional dealer markup. You might see pinstriping, you might see nitrogen in the tires. Just say no. Tell them you're not going to pay that. If you're without us, don't pay it. If you're with us, it won't even be a conversation. If you're uncomfortable, whether you're shopping on your own or you're with us, I will say this to you as the person who runs this business. If you are uncomfortable with us, with the dealer, or with the dealer on your own, walk away. Walk away and come back another day. There's no urgency to buy that day. We want you to be secure, sure, and confident when you purchase, and we want you to make a good decision. And we'll work with you until we find what you want, okay? I just want you to know that. We are patient, and we're gonna help you get there. If you don't use us, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but that's just me. I'm in the business all these years. If you don't take the time to use us, or you think you can do it on your own, or you want to do it on your own and you enjoy this process, God bless you. But you should always negotiate every step of the way. Do your research, get pre-approved for financing at the credit union, which is Brightstar. I'm giving another plug, but they're great folks. Know the value of your car, your trade-in, before you go in to make sure you're getting a fair price. We talked about CarMax and Carvana. You can also go online and look at Kelley Blue Book and NADA. But I'll tell you right now, KVB and NADA aren't accounting for the entire market value that Carvana and CarMax are paying for used cars right now. So I would just do a double check with CarMax and Carvana to just keep everybody honest and to maximize your value. It's going to save you money. okay? And when in doubt, call us. We're here 9 to 6. We have a great website presence. You can go to the Brightstar website and you can find us there. You can come to us at autoadvisors.com. You can go to bscu.autoadvisors.com and you can see all of you've got inventory. We've got a few 100,000 cars that we aggregate for our participating dealers. So we've really got a nice module for you for one-stop shopping. And we've got fabulous advisors. Joe runs a great team in South Florida. And at Brightstar, we have George and Donna. Donna's fantastic. George is wonderful. We've got Steve, wonderful folks, great experience. And if we get really busy, we have 5, 6 other auto advisors in South Florida that will chip in to help them with the Brightstar referrals. So we love the referrals and we love helping members. It's what we do. And I just want to be clear. We don't do anything else. We don't sell cars. We don't buy cars. We don't sell warranties. We don't sell Gap. All we do is help you buy a car. And I'm sitting here in a little 500 square foot office here in Orlando. It's just me and 2 assistants. That's it. And we make sure all the referrals, all the leads we get, all the inquiries we get go out to our advisors who work in the field. So it's nothing fancy. We keep it clean. We're modest. And we do between 3,800 and 4,000 cars a year, every year. And it's magic. So I just want to let you know that I greatly appreciate your patience. I've tried to keep this under 50 minutes and it's right there. I really appreciate your patience. I appreciate your interest in the credit union and our program. And I am here for the next half an hour or longer to answer every single question that you have so that we have full transparency with our program and what we do.
Okay, very good, Bill. We have our first question, but I'm going to ask everybody to type your questions using the chat feature, and we will read them to Bill, and he will address them. The first
Joyce,
question, yes.
Joyce, can you do me a favor? Can you
Sure.
Also, after you ask the question, can you unmute Joe as well? Because
Joe is unmuted. Joe,
Okay,
are you
great.
there?
So, okay, so Joe is my right-hand man. He runs South Florida. I depend on him greatly. He's got a great team. And so if I miss something or if I accidentally misspeak, Joe, please don't hesitate to correct me, okay?
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, the first question is from Nadeem. He wanted to know if cash buyers get better leverage to bargain.
Nadeem, it's a great question. And in the old days, yes. But today, in today's market, cash buyers are the same as credit union finance buyers because to the dealership, cash is the same as a draft. So cash for a new car dealer, for a manufactured franchise dealer doesn't make a difference. Now, for a used car dealer, kind of a small buy here, pay here lot, or a very small operation with maybe 30 cars on it, cash is king. But again, I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do. All I'm going to advise you is if you're going to buy a car from someone who's got 30 cars on their lot, are you sure they're going to be in business 6 months or a year from now? So I don't want to disparage them. I'm just concerned about your protection. So I would buy from a franchise new car dealer. I would put some money down. But with financing so cheap, I would keep my powder dry for a rainy day and I'd finance with my credit union. Because with rates so low, I'm not sure you can't put that money to use in bonds or in the market or in a safer place to make some money. But to put all that cash in a car, to put $20,000 in a car, unless you don't like a monthly payment, I'm not sure I would put $20,000 down on a car. Might put 10 and finance 10, so I have a little cash flow, but just an idea, okay?
All righty then. Janice needs to make an appointment with one of the local auto advisors. So I'm going to recommend that she contact the credit union. Or Joe, do you want to give out your email and then you can have her
Well,
speak to one of your agents?
before you do that, I would really prefer, and if Janice isn't pre-approved yet, I would like her to go through the process we just outlined. Please call the credit union, get pre-approved, tell them you were on the Zoom call, and then you'll be handed off. But I would really like the members to have the wonderful experience of talking to your very capable, experienced staff and have them pre-qualify, go through everything, get them pre-approved, buttoned up. And now, Janice, if you're already pre-approved, we'll take your information. Joe will call you, okay?
Definitely.
All right, so Janice, please reach out to us at the credit union and we will get you started.
Janice,
Nadim,
thank you. You just made my night. Thank you, Janice.
very good. Nadim has another question.
Please,
What is
Nadim.
the best time of the year or month to buy?
Okay, great question. If you don't use us, end of the month, toward the last 5 days of the month, and always a great time to buy is after December 20th. So that's just rule of thumb. It used to be in September, October when the manufacturers had the model year changes, Nadim. You may be familiar with that. But now models come out all different times of the year. So end of the year, they're pushing to move cars. So if you use us, though, we get volume pricing every day. We get volume pricing on the 1st of the month, the 10th of the month, the 31st of the month. So our pricing, you're going to get end of the year, end of the month pricing with us 365 days a year. Okay?
Very good. And now Bree is asking about a flat fee. I think, Bill, can you please explain that our members don't pay you anything?
Oh, thank
And
you.
yes.
Yes, so very important. We're a no-cost member benefit. You don't pay us a thing. The credit union helps us with marketing. We're able to work with the credit union to get access to members, and they refer you to us. But very important, the fee that we charge is a marketing fee paid by the dealer to us, which they take out of their marketing budget or their profit. We prefer it's out of the marketing budget because NADA puts out a report every year in their survey to dealers. And last year, dealers averaged $686 per qualified referral or qualified lead to come in the door. They pay us way less than that. And so we tell them, pay out of your marketing fee and we'll save you money. So the dealer pays us a flat fee, but that in no way is added to the price of your car because our average loan to value, and I know I'm getting technical, but on a $10,000 car, our loan to value is 89%. So on a $10,000 vehicle, our members pay $8,900. So we save you a lot of money when you use us. And again, the reason why the dealers pay us a marketing fee, by the way, they don't pay us a fee to sign up. They don't pay us a subscription fee. They only pay us when they deliver a car. And we want them to do that so that there's no confusion and there's full transparency. Okay? So that's what we do. And thank you for that question and for the ability for us to clarify.
And I'm going to explain to Bree that yes, your family members are welcome to join the credit union. Once you're a member or qualify for membership, your family members can join and take advantage of all the credit union features and benefits that we offer.
And Bree, you should send your friends too, because in South Florida, I believe Brightstar has a pretty expansive.
We do, Bill. We are open to everybody who lives, works, or goes to school in Broward, Dade, Palm Beach, and 20 other South Florida counties. So virtually every county south of Orlando. Yes.
So if you live, work, worship, or breathe in South Florida, you can join Brightstar. So please tell all your friends about Brightstar and us. You know, one of my friends told me, I helped him get a car, and he said, Bill, you guys are the best kept secret in America. Why don't you advertise on TV? And why aren't you in the mall at Millennia helping people? And I said, the reason is because not everyone is a credit union member and not everyone is qualified to get financed. And so we want to work with financial institutions that don't treat their members as customers, but who treat them as member owners. And there's a big difference. When I walk into Bank of America, I've been banking there since the 90s, they don't know me. When I walk into my credit union, hello, Mr. Goldberg, how are you? Nice to see you. How's the family? That's how I like to do business. So we love credit unions, and that's why we're not in the mall at Millennia, and that's why we're not on TV. We want to work with people who are committed to member service. And we were approached by Bank of America years ago, Nations Bank and then Bank of America, to help their customers in Central Florida. And I said, what are your interest rates? And they were like, well, 13.9. I said, no, thank you. No, I don't want to be in that business. So we are very committed to the credit union movement, and we are also very committed to Brightstar.
Excellent. And Rick wants to know, what if one of our members wants to take some test drives in some cars before they make a decision, Bill, on what they're looking to buy?
Great question. I wish I had asked that myself. And I'm sorry I didn't cover it. So Rick, we can't be with you at 5 different dealerships. That's impossible, especially with COVID and especially with how busy we are. We are swamped. So if you tell us the 5 vehicles you want to test drive, we're going to make appointments for you with our contacts at those dealers. And we're going to tell our contact, hey, Rick wants to come. He wants to come 10 o'clock on Saturday. He wants to drive a Camaro. I'm just making it up, okay? And he's not going to buy today. He's shopping, but he's one of our members. He's a Brightstar member. He's pre-approved. Don't try to close him. Let him drive the car. He's going to check out a Mustang. He's going to check out a Genesis. He's going to check out yada yada, an A4, Audi A4. When he's done, we'll bring him back to the couple cars that he's narrowed it down to. So allow us, remember the old Yellow Pages ad, let your fingers do the walking? Let our phones do the walking. Let us set up the appointments for you so you can at least take a test drive. We won't be there. Full disclaimer, we can't be with every member at 5 different dealers, but we can set up appointments so that you get a feel for the car. You get to meet our contacts who are very cool, very low key, and you'll have no pressure. And then you can come back to us and say, you know, I drove the Camaro and I drove the Mustang and I'm undecided. This one has more horsepower. This one I'm not sure about. And we may actually ask you, you know what, Rick, call your insurance company. You may want to double check on the insurance premium on those 2 cars, and that may help you make a different decision. And you may find out that the GT with 400 horsepower is going to be a lot more expensive, and you may opt to go with the Camaro as an example. But we're going to give you some insight. We're going to guide you. But in the end, you're going to buy what you want. We're just going to help facilitate it. Okay? I hope I answered that question.
We have lots of questions. Amanda wants to know if you work with other kind of vehicles like a rear entry handicap van.
Amanda, you have stumped me. Joseph, I don't know that we do, but Joe might have some insight. I'm sorry, I don't know.
No, we don't. We don't have a contacts for handicap vans.
But we will do this. If you know the manufacturer of the van, if you say it's a Chevy van or a Ford van, Amanda, I'll tell you what we'll do. If you contact us afterwards, we will make some inquiries. If you tell us what the chassis is, we will call one of our favorite dealers, and we will ask them who they use and who they recommend, and we will give you some guidance. But I must tell you, it's an area that, I'm an expert in a few things. This is one of them, but rear entry vans, I am not, and I apologize.
Okay, and PV asked a question about interest rates, which I apologize, PV. I don't have my lender on the call right now. However, this is something we would be delighted to discuss with you individually. So please reach out to the credit union and we will tell you the difference between new and used vehicles as far as the interest rate. And then Emily Lee is asking, do you have to be members of the credit union? Well, to become a member of the credit union, all you do is open a savings account. Once you have a savings account, then you are entitled to all the benefits of the credit union, including auto advisors. So
Joyce,
it's
how much do they have to put in? She's going to probably ask, how much do they have to have in the savings account?
Well, let me explain that if you have savings and another account, like a checking account or a credit card, then there are no minimums and no monthly fees.
Wonderful.
If you have a savings account and then an auto loan with us, there are no minimums in your savings account. So that is something we would be delighted to speak with you as well. So please call us at the credit union or go online to our website to reach out at www.bscu.org. So Carlos is asking, and this is some personal information.
Don't share with me all the personal, just the broad stuff.
Yes, he owes some money on a car, and CarMax offered him $12,000 for his Jeep.
Okay.
He has 17 months to go, and I believe he would like to sell the car and buy a new vehicle. He wants to know what you recommend. It's a 2014 car.
And they're offered him 12,000?
Yes.
Can you ask Carlos how much he owes on it? 17 months at how much?
He owes $7,000.
Oh, he owes 7,000.
And he's paying $430 a month.
Okay, so Carlos, I would like you to talk to Joe. I just want Joe to understand what the Jeep is, the 2014. 12,000 sounds like decent value on a 2014 Jeep. So if you can talk to Joe, I just want Joe, I don't want to tell you, oh, that's wonderful, and find out it's a Jeep Limited with Grand Cherokee Limited with leather 4x4 with a hitch and a tow package and all sorts of great stuff. And I undervalue it to you, Carlos. So talk to Joe. Let's get your information, Joyce. Get it to Joe. Let Joe just do a quick review of the vehicle. But it sounds to me on the surface, Carlos, like you can put $5,000 in your pocket, get out of a 2014, which is 6 years old, which is a darn good decision. Those things will break, and it costs a lot to fix. And it sounds like this is a great time for you to make that move and finance the balance with Brightstar.
Very good. And then Emily is asking how you qualify for membership. It's very easy, Emily, as long as you live, work, or go to school in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, or 20 other counties in South Florida, you qualify for membership with us, or if your family lives in any of those counties. So really simple. And then Jay is asking if this is a little bit off topic, but if we're going to have a presentation about home buying and mortgages and refinance on houses. And the answer is yes, we will. So just keep checking our webpage, bscu.org/seminars.
But Jay, I will not be doing that seminar.
No, we'll have our mortgage team do that.
Okay, thank you.
And then Jen is asking, what would a scenario be that when you're pre-approved and when the process begins, you don't get approved? In other words, do all credit union members get approved? Jen, I can answer that. When you are pre-approved, we check your credit score, we check your income, debt to income ratio, and some other factors. And when we give you a pre-approval, I believe your pre-approval is good for 60 days. And if you go look for a car and find out that you have not been pre-approved for enough money, then we will go back and renegotiate that loan with you. So once you're pre-approved, pretty much you're pre-approved. So, but that's something our lenders would have to speak with you about.
One thing I want to point out, a lot of members don't understand when they're pre-approved and the credit union said, yes, but there are some stipulations. I need 2 pay stubs. I need something else. And if you don't provide them with those stipulations that they've asked you to provide them, then you are not going to be pre-approved. So the pre-approval with stipulations is kind of you're pre-approved if you provide us with this information. So that's the only time I can think of a member being told you're pre-approved, but then the member forgetting that they were supposed to send in their proof of income. And proof of income, if you've been pre-approved, your approval is contingent upon you actually making 2,000 a month or 5,000 a month or whatever it is. So that's your contract back to the credit union. You owe them that in order to be officially approved to buy the car. So just your cooperation with the credit union and full transparency is really important because they're your lender. And it's almost like they're your priest. You don't want to hide anything from them. You want to tell the credit union everything so they can make a great financial decision for you and give you a maximum loan amount. That's the goal, right?
Exactly. As well as that, we always tell people once you're in the process of a loan application, don't do anything crazy. Don't apply for a mortgage and then apply for a car loan. Don't open new credit cards while you're in the loan process,
Very
because
good.
any of those financial transactions can change your credit score and your lending history. So you really don't want to do that. Here's a question from Jay, but I believe I know the answer. I don't believe Auto Advisors works with leases.
Actually, we do.
You do? Okay.
Jay, great
So
question. So the
Jay
credit,
is asking if
go
he
ahead.
can break his lease and get a new lease. So take it from there, Bill.
Okay, Jay, this is a tough one. It depends how long you've been in the lease, and it depends how much the Carvana, quite frankly, or CarMax is willing to pay for your car to buy you out of the lease. A lease is like a rental contract. I hope you don't have more than a 36 or 39-month lease. I don't know how, Joyce, if he can give you, send you an email or send you the terms, we'll get a little more specific. But the idea is that if you want to get yourself bought out of a lease, you need to find someone to buy you out of the lease, to pay what's owed on it. What we don't want to do is take what's owed on it and roll the negative into your new car. So we need to help you. Joe is an expert on helping people move out of leases. So we want to do that, okay? But we do help you find a lease. You know what? Hang on, folks. I hope this doesn't change anything, but I need to charge my, am I still there?
You're still there. And while you're doing that, Bill, I want everyone to know I've put my email on the chat. It's joyce.gaines@bscu.org. So if you have any questions or would like anyone from the credit union or auto advisors to reach out to you, reach
Perfect.
out to me and at joyce.gaines@bscu.org, and I will have the appropriate person answer. And
Okay,
then Pete.
let me just go back to that
Mhm.
lease thing. We want to help you get out of the lease. Joe will advise you, but further, and as important, we do work with dealers to help you get a lease. Now, we're going to talk to you about the credit union financing. We're also going to, I lease my car, but the reason I lease my car is I own a business and I can write off 95% of the lease because I use it 95% for business. If you can't write off the lease, a 36-month lease is about, within a few dollars, but rule of thumb, a 36-month lease is about a 60-month loan. So I would rather personally, if you don't have a business, to use it as a tax deduction and write it off. I think a better financial move might be to get a 60-month loan and then flip the car, trade the car at 36 months. But if there are some manufacturers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, who actually subvent the lease. They actually discount the lease, and sometimes the payment's ridiculous. If it's one of those vehicles and one of those manufacturers, then it's harder to make the 36-month lease look like the 60-month loan. But for about 80-90% of the vehicles, you're better off in a 60-month loan. So just food for thought. But I would like him, Joyce, to talk to Joe, because Joe has done this 1,000 times and he's going to give them really spot on advice on what to do.
Very good. So if you email me, I will be sure to get you over to Joe.
Perfect.
And PV is asking, do you recommend putting money down when buying a car or best to just finance it all?
It's up to you. It's really a personal preference. I actually like to see people start off in the red, in the black, not in the red. So let's say the car costs 20,000. And PV, this is a great question. Let's say the car costs 20,000 and you've got tax tag and titling fees that are 22. So it totals 22,000. I would love to see you put 2,000-3,000 down, because that means your loan to value is 95%. You went from 22,000 to 19, and the value of the car was 20. So that puts you in a good equity position already. And that way you're ahead of the game. As the car depreciates, you are paying down the loan and you're not upside down. You don't owe more than it's worth. If you're leasing, you never put money down. You put the minimum amount down, because a lease is a rental. So why would you put a down payment on a rental? You're just getting a monthly payment. The other thinking you should do is to think, can I put some money down to help get to a payment that I want to get to without going above my budget? So let's say your budget is 20, but you want a $25,000 car. And you say, you know what, I'm going to put down 5, because that gets me to where my budget is and where my monthly payment's comfortable. So use your good common sense. You know, you don't need to put half down. You don't need to pay for it in cash. With money so inexpensive, it's nice to use the credit union's money. Now, if interest rates are 10%, 8.9%, we're going to have a different conversation. I'm going to suggest that you pay cash for the car, because what a great return on your money. You're getting 8.9% on your money, because that's what you would pay to borrow that money from the credit union. So it just depends on your circumstance. If putting a down payment is going to limit your cash flow, you know, financial planners say you should always have 6 months of cash set aside. God forbid there's a pandemic, or, you know, you need emergency money. So if you've got that money put aside and you can afford to put down a little bit, absolutely not a bad thing to put down some money. The credit union also loves to see you put down money, because their equity position in the vehicle is better, and it makes you a better, safer member. So all around, it's a better transaction if you put a few dollars down. But don't go crazy. I like to see tax tag and title to get you below the value of the car. Joe, did I miss anything on that? Do you have any other insight?
No, you're right on it. You don't want to put down a lot of money. The main thing is your monthly payment, whatever you're comfortable with. You know, that's it.
Thank you. Okay.
Great. And Denise mentioned that she came into the seminar late. Denise, if you email me, and my email is on there, joyce.gaines@bscu.org. We are recording this presentation. We will send you the link.
Also, if you want to call me or Joe tomorrow, I'm happy to give you a 15 or 20-minute abbreviated seminar. I'll go through it with you if you want.
Perfect. So just email me and I'll get your contact information to Bill or Joe. And then Bree has, I believe, the one last question I see here. How do lease with options to buy work?
Well, every lease has an option to buy. At the end, right, Joe? At the end of a lease, you can buy it out, but that's usually not a good thing. And I'll explain why. You just follow me for a minute. Remember I mentioned earlier that some manufacturers subvent, discount the lease so that you can afford to get that vehicle and get a low monthly payment. So here's what happens. A lease is comprised of 3 things. One is called the capitalized cost. That's translation, selling price. The second thing is the money factor, the interest rate. And the third thing is the residual value. And that's what it's worth at the end of the lease. And all those 3 components go into a witch's brew and come up with a monthly payment. So here's where it gets tricky. Let's take Porsche, for instance. They will increase the residual value. There's an organization called ALG, Automotive Lease Guide, and they rate the value of every car in America 3, 4, 5, 6 after 3, 4, and 5 and 6 years of being leased. It's called the ALG Guide. And what it does is it shows you a Porsche Macan S 2018, and it will show you the value after a 3-year lease of $30,000. So that residual value, though, in your contract, if you bought that, it's probably worth 40 because the dealer, the manufacturer increased the residual value to reduce your monthly payment. I hope that makes sense. Okay, they increased the residual value, what the calculation was of what it would be worth to lower your payment because you only pay for the difference. So I don't recommend leasing a car to buy it. If you want to buy it over 60 months or 66 or 72 months. But to lease it and to make a payment and then pay the residual value cost at the end, which has been increased to reduce your payment, you're paying way over. You might pay $10,000 more than the actual value of that vehicle in the marketplace when it goes to auction. So I say, let Porsche or Audi or BMW or Cadillac take that hit and you move on to your next car. If you want to lease to own to own. Come to Brightstar, get your financing and own it for a comfortable term, which gives you a good payment. Joseph, please, I hope you agree with me on all of this.
Totally agree. Right on.
Perfect. So I would say it's not just a rule of thumb. I'm actually going to say something pretty blunt. Never lease to own. Never. Joe will tell you he loves Toyota RAV4s. He leases them. He beats them to death and he turns them in because Toyota on RAV4s give you a high residual value. So his monthly, I think Joe is like a $200 monthly payment on a RAV4 that is the nicest RAV4 you've ever seen in your life. And he's got a couple $100 a month payment. It's all because the residual value is jumped up so that when Joe is at a lease, they're going to come to him and say, hey, Joe, buy this vehicle. And Joe's going to say, are you crazy? The car's worth 15 grand. You want to charge me 26? Okay.
Perfect. Do we have any last questions before we say goodnight for the evening? Anybody?
Joyce, the last person who asked the lease to buy question,
Yes.
do they understand? Well, I want to make sure that we were clear because residual value, money factor, and capitalized cost, it gets complicated. I just want to make sure that we were clear enough on that.
Well, Bree, if you need a further explanation, again, my email is joyce.gaines@bscu.org. Feel free to email me and we will get either Joe or Bill to explain it to you again.
Perfect.
So I don't see any further questions. I want to thank you so much, Bill and Joe and everyone for participating. Again, all of our information about upcoming seminars are on our website, bscu.org/seminars. Next week on Tuesday evening, we're going to have a seminar about dealing with stress. I know we've all been a little bit stressed out during this pandemic, and Greg put my email address there again. It's joyce.gaines@bscu.org. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me and we will direct your questions to the appropriate person at the credit union, including our lending department, so you can get pre-approved for your loan for your brand new car or brand new used car. So with that, again, I want to thank everyone very much and hope to see you at our next seminar. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.